Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next episode of Vinyl Stallions!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Vinyl Stallions. We have a great guest today, Mr. Sean McAfee, the lead singer and guitarist of Who Saved Who out of Cleveland, Ohio, which is a four-piece indie alternative band. You guys have some infectious grooves, captivating melodies, funky bridge movements. I've seen them live, so I can attest to all of this. But Sean, how are we doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, it is our pleasure. And so like I said, I just literally saw you guys at the Happy Dog about 2 weeks ago, and holy shit.
We were good?
This is a band that you have to get out and see in person if you want the full experience, because I mean, energy, song after song was incredible.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, no. And so this is a kind of relatively recent project in the past couple years.
Mm-hmm.
But how did this whole thing start?
Yeah, so this was an idea kind of boiling in my mind for a while. I always wanted to be in a band, just like as long as I can remember. Since high school, I just wanted to be in a band without learning to play guitar. I thought it would just happen. And then bought my first guitar after high school graduation. 5 years of just playing that. And then, Who Saved Who came about. I just graduated college, got a job, really felt like it was time to scratch that itch of starting a band. I reached out to Sal Correo, who I went to high school with and who I knew played drums, and said, hey, I had already booked studio time and had songs written. And I was like, hey, let's go to the studio and you just play drums for me and I'll do everything else. I just need you to play drums because that's the one thing I'm not going to learn my own. But so it started with me and him, and we recorded our first single, How to Be Strangers, back in like 2019, dropped it in 2020, right before pandemic.
Yeah.
And
so that's super interesting. So had you playing in the studio with Sal, was that like your first time playing with him?
We used to jam, actually. We used to jam with some other kids I went to high school with, Chris Mabe and Spencer Weidig. Shout out them. We used to jam with them. So like me and Sal always, we had like a bit of a musical chemistry going on beforehand. So I trusted him with these songs. But it wasn't until it was the day of the studio that he came in and learned these songs. I just sent him like demos of they were like Logic presets of drum tracks, and he just played them exactly as they were in Logic. So it worked out well.
Yeah, no, that's super interesting, because I feel like that's not typically how most bands start. Usually they just are all kind of playing casually first, and then they write a few songs and then hit the studio. So that's kind of cool hearing this. You guys hit the studio first and then went from there.
Yeah, I wanted to have something to show before we played live, but the idea of playing live wasn't even a thing in my head. I just had songs that I really wanted to get out there. And it's just the formation of the band came much later. We had to go through a whole pandemic. Then I slowly acquired people, lost people, and now the people who are in it are in it. We're all we're like a unit now. It's
and run us through that lineup.
Sure, yeah. So me and Sal started off where we were the birth of this band. We released 4 singles, just us in the studio, and after that we wrote an EP together. And then once we released the EP, shows started coming back. It started to seem like it was a feasible thing for us to actually be able to play live. So I reached out to Luke Patterson, who is our lead guitarist, and he was a family friend of mine. And he posted a video of him playing guitar on Instagram. And just word to the wise for anyone who wants to join a band, post yourself playing guitar on Instagram. Just do it. You will get reached out to. It'll bring great things to you. So I reached out to him, told him, hey, you should come by the studio. Me and Sal just got a studio space, and Luke came by. We jammed with him, and it just worked out really well. After 3 practices, I was like, want to be in the band? I was like, finally asking her out to be the girlfriend. Making it official. You want to make it official? Yeah, it was after 3 dates. We were like, you're the one. And we had a bass player named John Cropper for a minute. He played the first few shows with us. And so that was what kind of got us started. We also had a keyboard player named Mylene, who's now known as Mix Lane, and she's doing her own thing now. But yeah, so it's like the first few shows we played, complete like a very different lineup than what we see now. So after John left, because he went to he would focus more on his band, the Rosies. Shout the Rosies out.
Man,
Yeah,
that
we've
band has
had
been
quite a
brought up
few
so many
guests
times on this
mention
show,
them.
man.
Yeah.
Like constantly regarded as one of the best bands in the Cleveland area.
Absolutely. Yeah, John made the right choice focusing on them. But yeah, so after that we acquired Kian Liascos. Sal had put out a message on a Facebook group, Cleveland bass players page, and Kian got a notification on it. We just had released our Moving Out of State music video, and he saw the music video, and I think that was enough to win him over, and he was like, okay, I got to join this band. And he sent us some videos of him playing. He was doing some weird intricate tapping stuff on the bass, and we were like, well, that's more we can ask for, like, get in here. He came to our show that we played a show at Beachland Ballroom July 30th. He came and saw us, and after the show, I was at the merch booth, and he came by, and I was like, hey, we're playing August 20th, you're playing with us. He's like, okay.
And this was last year?
Yeah, this is last year. So
Okay.
he's the newest member. And yeah, and then since then it's been just like a lot of shows, just a lot of eventful things happening, and now we're just like a really strong 4-piece, and yeah, rolling strong.
And emphasis on the strong and tight 4-piece band, because again, so when I saw you guys, I mean, I've spoken it already, but the live performance is insane. Like Kian, man, he was doing something. Me and I went with my buddy Connor Emser, who we just had on here recently, and dude, him tossing up that bass, coming down with the slide, him and Luke in like coordination. Like, dude, I love when bands do that, and yeah, just captivating all around.
Yeah, that's one of those things we just kind of work on in the practice room. Like when we play our song Opposite Eternities, during the bridge of that song, we like to rotate to one side altogether, then to the other side altogether. And it's just one of those things that can only happen in the practice room. And then we do it live. We've done it live ever since then, and every crowd has been like, I love that.
Yeah, that's like very cool that you mentioned that too, because like you always hear like about what bands like do musically when they practice, but like that's a very good point, like practicing stage moves and like choreographing, if you will, because that's like an aspect that goes into a live show that often gets overlooked, but can often really make a band be better live or worse live.
I mean, I'm a live critic right now, and I will tell you that when I go to, like, you could be the greatest guitarist in the world, but if you're standing there playing, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are certain guitarists out there that will just like completely blow my mind.
You have to be really fucking good to get away with that, though.
And especially in like the local scene, like trying to just get like a breakout, like people to remember you, because there's so much music right now just flowing around Northeast Ohio. And so, yeah, Club, you nailed it on the head. Like, that is a huge aspect of like what I remember. Honestly, Sean, we were downstairs talking before we came on, and I say my theory of live music is to win over like a person, you just have to do one thing for them to remember. And I guess not even do, but wear. We were talking in your latest show that you just played in Baltimore, Maryland. You had this hat, and I will just never forget seeing pictures and videos of that hat. It's either like doing one thing, one part, one solo, one dance move. It's a huge part of at least my music experience being a listener, and you guys got it.
I recommend being interesting to look at if you're going to be on stage and you want people to look at you. I really recommend doing something that is going to make people not take their eyes off of you.
So you said you booked studio time when you first got this idea. Well, first off, where did the name come from? Who Saved Who?
Yeah, it's an interesting story. I actually can like remember the exact time I heard someone say it, and then I clicked it with me to make that a band name. It was I majored in digital media production, which is a focus in film at Kent State, and I was seeing one of my teacher's films that she made, and this story was about like this veteran who comes home and he has PTSD, and he meets this grieving woman, and they form this like very tumultuous relationship. And after the movie, she was doing a Q&A, and someone just asked her a question, and then she just said, it's like a who saved who situation. And I was like, that's a band name right there. Like I couldn't think of anything else. I just heard Who Saved Who, and I was like, that's a band name right there. I'm holding on
That's
to that.
awesome.
Yeah. And so I just like held on to that. And it's like every time I would write, I'd be like, this is a Who Saved Who song right here. It just kind of formed the way I wrote. But yeah, I mean,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Then that, like, it's the hardest part of a band, and the fact that it clicked with you and you knew immediately when someone said that was great.
Yeah.
So who'd you book studio time with?
So we went to Superior Sound Studio in downtown Cleveland, and we worked with Jim Stewart. Yeah, Jim Stewart. We worked with him for our first 4 singles and our EP. So yeah, we have a history of working with him. Yeah, I mean, he did great work.
Yeah, I've heard his name. Someone, the Room Recording Company was just speaking highly of Superior Sounds downtown. But yeah, no, I'll like, and Jim Stewart's a name that I've heard thrown around. So you went a great guy. And Sean, man, so Sean and I went 4 years in high school together. There's some old photos I think I might have to bring back as we promote this bad boy up at Crack-a-Pock.
Oh, I remember those.
Causing a scene. But Sean, yeah, like I didn't know you had this voice back then, and it is a powerful and great frontman voice.
Thank you.
And you hear it within those first 4 songs as well. So like, did you always know you had this voice?
No, I didn't. Yeah, you said you didn't know I had this voice. I didn't either. I liked singing for as long as I can remember, but I just never did. I just always assumed, oh, I'm a bad singer. Like I always assumed good singers were just born that way and they never had to practice it. And it was just an intrinsic thing that they were born with. So I never sang much. And then when I realized that I was going to go, when I realized I wanted to be in a band, I was like, well, I'm probably going to be the singer of the band because I'm writing these songs and I'm the only one who can like sing these with the emotion that I'm trying to elicit. So I just sang more. And after we recorded our first 4 singles, I actually started going to singing lessons. Nice. And because I really just wanted to take it like really seriously, and we were starting to play live again.
Where'd you go for those?
I went for those like sometime like last like 2021 around my I remember I did it as like a birthday present for myself. So like around February, I was like, I'm just gonna go to singing lessons. And I go to the Lakewood Music Collective.
Awesome.
Shout them out. And I've been working with this instructor named Stephanie, and we've just been like, I mean, like my singing has gone to a whole other level where I feel very comfortable on stage, and I'm like, I like the technique that I have is more on point. I feel like I used to, when I first 4 shows, when I would sing, I'd get so tired afterwards, and like I couldn't talk, and because I was like singing out of my throat and like just doing all the things that you're not supposed to do. And by the end of the show, I'm like, thank everybody for coming out. This has been great. But yeah, it's been great. Just like being a better singer. That's like kind of the thing that I think I've excelled at the most in starting this band.
And it's like you just nailed it on the head. With some people, it's just so natural where they don't even think about it. They just go up there and do it. But to some others, you got to learn it like an instrument. It's an instrument at the end of the day.
Yeah, and you got to learn it in a way where like the effort becomes invisible, which is the hard part, because when people can hear you trying, I guess like in all aspects of music, like when they hear the work, that kind of takes away the magic of it. And it's like one of the best pieces of advice I heard about singing was like, it should be effortless. And like I took that to heart and was like, okay, well, if there ever feels like I'm putting in too much effort in my singing, it's time to tone it down a little bit.
That's great advice, honestly.
So that'll happen in 2020, you said. Like okay. So then, the album Sharing the Daytime Moon came out like just a few months ago.
May 6th,
2022, baby.
Hell yeah.
So how did the process of writing, recording that, and like, how did that all work?
Oh, this is going to be so much fun to talk about.
Yeah, break it down.
All right.
Break it down. Yeah. Okay. So before we started writing this album, it was mainly just me and Sal writing these songs together. And before even Sal sort of came into the equation, it was just me writing these songs. So what's great about Sharing the Daytime Moon is that it is a culmination of all of our creative forces working together. We've got Luke bringing in his own leads, playing his own instrument and like playing in a way that he feels most comfortable with. We got Kian bringing in his bass lines. He's adding like grooves to that. Sal's doing like more like he's bringing his own drum style to it. It's like we're all working together to create like a very like cohesive project, which is it's hard to do, but when you do it right, it works really well. And so with these songs, we like, broke it down to these 9 songs that we thought were like the best representation of us. I thought it would like work really well as a narrative. The way that the songs are recorded are the way that like that's the way that the album is. So it's like the like from start to finish, those are the order that we recorded the songs in. So it's like you can you kind of like hear the story of how we've changed throughout recording this album. Like we lost a member halfway through the album. It's like 4 songs in, our keyboardist left. So then it was just us, and we're like, well, what do we do? Like, we're not gonna stop. Like, we're like halfway through this album, we got to keep going. And we didn't decide to change anything. We just kept going. But so before we actually went and recorded it, we were approached by this producer named James Harker from Columbus, Ohio, who also fronts the band Spirit of the Bear.
Okay.
Great band. They're killing it right now. I highly recommend you check them out before they blow up. And Harry Styles is opening for them. But
I'm writing this down.
Yeah, write them down.
Spirit of the Bear.
Spirit of the Bear. He approached us on Instagram, was like, hey, I really love the stuff that you guys been putting out. I think, if you guys ever want to work together, I'd love to have you in the studio. I showed his stuff to Sal. He was really impressed by it. We all listened to he records his own music for Spirit of the Bear too. We all listened to it and we were like, this sounds amazing. We should go with this guy. And yeah, we just signed on for like an album contract. And just started going. We had to go down to Columbus. Like the process was actually like it was fun, but it was like grueling to look back on. Like to think that like over the course of 6 months, we were driving down to Columbus, stay a night, maybe record 2 songs, come back, and like we're just all dead tired because studio time just takes it out of you. But yeah, I mean, it was a long process, but it was like very fun, just like being in the studio. James is such a great producer where he like can kind of hear something and be like, I think this should be added to the song. And there was like a great like collaborative process to it.
What do you think the most fun part of it was? And I guess what was one of the biggest challenges besides, like, obviously the fact that it's 2 hours away is probably the biggest one, but I mean, just like beyond that.
Let's see. Well, one of the most fun parts to me, and this might be really specific, but was like just hearing the whole band sing was something I was like really excited and to hear. We instilled like one thing that's really missing from a lot of our earlier stuff is like vocal harmonies. And so having the whole band kind of get in that vocal booth, lay down a vocal harmony, it just like took our songs to the next level. It's like also another underrated thing in your songs, like add vocal harmonies, add some vocal harmonies to your songs, bands, please do it. So that for me was one of the most fun things. It's just seeing the band members come out of their shell, basically, was what was the most fun part. So like that whole collaborative process was just like, to me, like the most precious thing that happened during that. Challenging wise, I think it's also like the opposite of that, where it doesn't feel like we're collaborating anymore, where it's like someone wants to do something because like they feel it's right and it's not exactly what might work for the song. It's kind of like having to tell someone, no, we don't want to do that. And that can be like challenging to do, and like to sort of put the ego to the side. It was like the biggest challenge, but it's a very worthwhile and necessary thing to survive as a band, really.
I mean, that's tough for any musician out there. Like you have this clear image of what you want in your head, but when you take back and look at the bigger picture and realize it is huge, but it's also huge as well to be able to receive that. Like it's music at the end of the day. Like you're just making music together.
It's music, and it's like at the end of the day, it's not that serious, but it also is like very important that you keep doing it.
Yes.
So it's not as serious to, oh, my lead has to be this. It's not this. It's more important that we get to keep making music.
Absolutely
indeed.
So yeah, that came out in May, so we're a few months removed from that. So I guess, do you guys have plans to start working on a second full-length album? Are you gonna
I heard some announcement recently. I wonder where that was.
Let me just hit my tea real quick.
Okay.
So yeah, we have been writing again. It's like it's really exciting to just get back in there. I feel like we spent a lot of time playing these songs to people, getting out of town, getting out of state, just playing around. And yeah, we got back into the practice. We've been getting back in the practice room. And we just started writing, and we really like what's coming out. I feel like we're gonna write, like, it's gonna be even more of a cohesive, like, 4-piece project where everyone's really bringing in their best stuff. And like, I think we're all just really growing as artists and performers too, which is really exciting to see. And like the first album, it's nice that the first album wasn't like everything we had to say. It's like that was just the starting point, and now it's like we're ready to keep going.
Very cool. Are you gonna go with the same with James and Columbus again?
Yeah, we don't really know. I'm trying not to put like a destination on it right now. Like, it's just like I just want to get in the studio or get in like the practice room and just write,
True.
without
You
any
never know
sort
who
of-
you're gonna meet.
Yeah, exactly. Like, kind of just let the wind take us wherever it may.
Yeah, when you're ready. But I mean, so leading up to that, I mentioned you guys had just played a show recently in Baltimore, Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Where was that at, and what was that like playing out of state?
Yeah. So it was at this place called Current Space. It was recommended to us by this band called Leisure Sport, who we just played with at the Happy Dog. Shout them out. Check them out. Leisure
Very
Sport.
cool.
Leisure Sport, very good.
Very good band. They wanted to come to Cleveland. We wanted to come to Baltimore. We worked something out. They unfortunately had to drop the Baltimore show because they're opening for a band called Bully, which is the lead singer of Leisure Sport's favorite band. So can't really fault them for that. They still helped us out, and they still got us a show down there. So the actual show itself was awesome. We played with 2 great bands. We played with Insatiable High, and the headliner was Black Vapor.
Okay.
It was an outdoor venue. It was really cool little space. It kind of reminded me of like you ever the Barrio patio, back there. It kind of reminded me of that. Just like take away all the benches and put up like a big tent and a stage. It kind of reminded me of that. It was really cool, like very chill place to be. And it was a great show. I mean, the crowd was cool. I saw some grooving and some dancing, and it's kind of fun playing to a crowd who you don't know anybody in. Like, that was our first show actually, because like when we played in Chicago, like a few of us took like our girlfriends down with us, and it was like we had that kind of safety net of like, well, if no one else is there, at least we have them. When we played in Jersey, we had a friend come up. So this was one of those times where we didn't know anybody, and we just had to completely win over this brand new crowd. And I think I saw some people bobbing their heads, and whether or not what they said afterwards, if they said we weren't any good, it's like I saw the evidence in that moment that they were enjoying it, and they can't take that away. So, so overall, great experience. I can't wait to get back down there, and I can't wait to just keep playing around the country. It's just so great getting out of state.
I mean, shit, that's like, it's hard, especially at this level when you're not like full-time committed. It's still like a project and something you got to work on your free time and stuff. But to be able to rally the troops and say, yo, let's go play. So you played New Jersey, you just said, Chicago, Baltimore, anywhere else? And this all this summer?
Yes, all this summer. We had Detroit lined up, but that unfortunately got canceled. We played at this festival called Lucasville in Gibsonburg, Ohio. That was
I know where that is. That's like 40 minutes from me.
Yeah, it's not too far. Have you ever heard of Tomato Fest?
That is a little podunk town. That's crazy that you guys found yourself in Gibson.
Well, it's funny. I had a family member who was actually running that festival, and he reached out to me and was like, "You want to play?" And we said, "Sure." This was like a while back. This is like probably almost a year ago. We agreed to it, and then it came around like, "Oh, we got to do that." Crap, that kind of stuck up on us. So yeah, that's about the most like out of state we've played this summer. Ready to get back out there. But
are there any certain like cities or areas that you really have your eye on where you're like, all right, guys, we got to play here?
Yeah, I mean, everywhere. I mean, got to get down to Nashville. I'm sure most people would agree. Got to get down to Nashville. Got to get to Philly and Pittsburgh. We have not played we haven't played in PA at all. That's definitely a destination for us. New York, I think would be sweet. NYC.
Yeah.
And I mean, those are just the play. I mean, I want to go all over the world, but I mean, for now, those seem like the most feasible for us. So those are the ones that we're really got our eye on, and we're like, those are next.
Yeah, no, dude, it's all doable, man. Everywhere is looking for new bands to play, and if you're willing to come out there, like win-win for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, that's awesome. So you guys were named a top 5 band from the Cleveland scene in 2021.
Ooh.
And I see those come out every year. And when I saw your guys' name, I was like, holy shit. Like, because you guys didn't have your full debut album out yet.
Nope.
And so that was very cool to happen. And then we mentioned as well, there's a festival, the Bright Winter Festival that happens here in Cleveland down in the Flats in February. And I'm just scrolling through the lineup and I'm like, Who Saved Who? And how was that experience? I mean, that's like a pretty big stage to play on.
Yeah.
And again, before your debut album is even out and about.
Yeah, Bright Winter was incredible. Like the sense of community was probably my favorite part of it. It's just like walking around and like these other band members are going like, hey man, what's up? And like, we're just like, wow, we feel so cool. Like we just felt so cool. Like we had like the backstage passage and we were like the band.
It is cool.
Really cool. I was like, damn, we're really doing it. That was like kind of like the damn, we really doing this. We really out here moment.
Hell yeah.
Slot at the music festival.
So that was sweet. The actual playing on stage in freezing cold weather, like not ideal. Don't recommend it, but like still a great time. Probably the biggest crowd we ever played to. Just like an incredible moment. We applied and hopefully we can do it again. So Bright Winter, if you're listening to this, please have us on again. We had so much fun.
Hell yeah.
And as for the Cleveland scene thing, that was just like a very, I don't know what to say, lucky, like incredible thing to happen to us. I mean, it was really fun and cool to see our name just in that top 5. I felt very honored. I was like, wow. Okay, cool.
Is that something like you had to submit for?
Yeah. So like we didn't have to submit it, but like we put it like on it. We just kind of like half-heartedly were like, hey, if you want to vote for us, go for it. And it's not, we didn't really do too much like campaigning, and then we got on there.
Bang.
Hey,
that's awesome.
No, that is very cool, man. And yeah, I'm excited to see where you guys take this thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And we're just getting started.
Exactly. Like the fact that you just found like within the past like year or so, like the 4 people to roll with.
Yeah.
I mean, getting that just chemistry, tightness down is everything.
Yeah.
Like that is like everything in a band, to be able to mindlessly like be able to like look at someone on stage and go somewhere where you weren't expecting.
Absolutely.
And all right, so speaking of live performances, so do you guys and again I see you guys, but do you guys like take your songs and change them up a little bit when they're live? Like, do you ever like take it and jam on them for a minute, or you pretty much play them how they are in the studio?
Yeah, we pretty much play them straight. Yeah, we haven't done too much. Like, it would probably be cool to implement like a little jam out or just change them up a little bit. But yeah, we try to play them pretty straight because like the live performance usually kind of dictates where the song goes, because we actually all the songs on the album we played live before we released the album. So it's like we kind of took them to the stage to workshop them first before we took them to the studio. And so the songs did change over time. If you were at like our first show where we debuted some new ones and then you saw us again months later, you'd be like, well, that's not the same song. So I guess like, in a sense, yes, but also we usually keep the song. We usually do like a, verbatim.
Okay. Before a show too, like when you guys are like, all right, I guess you're deciding what to play. Do you have like a very like calculated, laid out set list, and like exactly song by song what you're gonna play? Or are there ever times where like maybe you're a few songs in and you're like really feeling like you want to play something else and you'll just like mix it up?
Yeah, so we usually stick to a pretty regimented set list. But it's actually funny because that festival we played in Gibsonburg, the Lucasville Festival, we were just up on stage and I'd be like, we don't want to play next. Let's play Crying in the Tub. All right, let's do it. So that was like actually a lot of fun to just kind of have that what's next. And, someone would be like, shout out a song. And then someone would be like, in the band, no one in the crowd knew who we were, but like the band would be like, someone would be like, let's play House. I'm like, okay, cool. But usually we stick to a set list. We just like to just kind of see things through and like see if it works. Yeah, just try different things. Yeah.
Very cool. What kind of rig you working with, Sean?
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, so I wish I had it with me right now, but so I just got myself a American Jazz Master with vintage pickups, and it sounds beautiful. It's like this like pink. It's got like this pink like metallic finish. So I've just I just decided to like embrace my love for pink. I love the color pink so much, and I was like, I gotta get a pink guitar. I got a pink because showmanship. Gotta have it. I'm a colorful guy.
I need to see this bad boy.
Yeah, you do. I mean, what you saw at the Happy Dog.
I did, but I need to analyze.
You need to like hold it in your hand.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm rolling with now. I play with couple. Let's see. Let me go through my pedal setup. I play with like a Boss delay. I have a Boss chorus. I just bought an EHX Canyon. It's like a great like multi effects pedal.
Yeah, my buddy has it.
Very cool. And I think the most essential part of my gear is the Earthquaker Plumes Overdrive. It kind of just gives me the sound that I need. It is exactly what I need in Who Saved Who. I also have a Crayon EHX Overdrive just for a little extra boost. And yeah, that's about it. Not too much. I did just buy like a new JR train pedal board. Because I'm trying to just get more on there because why not? Let's have some fun.
That's everything.
Yeah.
No pedals drop. And then what kind of amp?
I have a Fender Vibrolux.
Ooh.
A big, heavy, weighty boy. I believe it's a 20 watt. Could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. Wish I knew more about my gear, but all I know is that it sounds great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's like one of those things. I found my gear and my sound, and I just roll with that. And I'm not too much. I don't have too much ambition to change it, especially when it's so good. Like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's kind of how I'm rolling.
Yeah. Bada bang.
What are some of your favorite venues to play?
Oh, this is a good question. So obviously we love Mahal's. We've played Mahal's a countless number of times, and every show we've had there has just been incredible. Like they just got better and better. We played our album release show there, and that was like that was absolutely like one of the biggest shows besides Bright Winter. That was like the biggest show we've had that we actually controlled.
Yeah.
So Mahal's, shout out them, love them. We had some really good shows at the Foundry. We played our second show ever at the Foundry on a Thursday night. It was just like one of those things where like, all right, let's just play a show at the Foundry. A lot of people showed up. It was like a great turnout. Like we had so much fun on stage. So there's like that, just like the nostalgic factor of the Foundry. Like thinking back to the good old days, just a little over a year ago, we played our second show on a Thursday. Let's see. You know what? I gotta shout them out because I think this is probably one of the best sound, the best sound we've had on stage is at the Grog Shop. Like I'm not just in any other venues. Everyone sounds great, but when we play at the Grog Shop, like we have incredible sound there, like really unmatched. So those three are probably my favorite that we've played around.
And then let's stick local. What are just some local bands that you have grown fond of?
Okay. Well, I got to shout out this band Hosta. We played our very first show with them. Ethan Lang.
Dude, I just looked that up today.
Yeah.
Like literally today.
Yes.
I was like, because Ethan, if you're listening to this is gonna be funny, but I was talking about it was called Camp Legonier, and it was this summer camp. And me and our buddy B-Mac, who was on the show recently, we camped together, and we didn't know, but Ethan Ling was like just randomly there. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I wonder what that kid's doing. Like, I feel like I thought he's playing in a band. And I looked up Hosta today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're incredible. We when we booked our first show, we needed like an opener, and we didn't know who to pick. And Sal was like, "Want to just ask Ethan's band?" Because he would post like pics of them jamming in their garage. We're sure. And then they came, and then like at soundcheck, we heard them play a song, and we were like, "Oh shit!" Like we didn't think they were going to be bad, but we didn't think they were going to be like really good. And we got really nervous. We're like, "Oh fuck, they're actually good."
Dude, he can rip.
I've
seen some of his videos.
Oh yeah,
he is very talented.
Incredible songs, incredible songwriter. Like love them. Can't wait to just see what they do next. So I really got to shout them out. I want to shout out People in the Daytime. Mm-hmm. Very fun band to see live. Just like great performers, great players. They played with us at our album release show, and I mean, just talk about like having a band that like makes you want to be better. Like I see them and I see Hostile Live, and I'm like, we need to up this shit, okay? Like we can't be slacking. People in the daytime's gonna take our spot. I mean, it's not a competition, but you know,
dude, people. I put in this old band back in 2019 called Tomo Alone, and we played with people in the daytime when they were just getting going at the Winchester, and legit as hell. Like they just got the keys and everything down.
Oh yeah. Shout out John, keys player and people in the daytime.
Yeah, that guy was legit. He's got that Nord 3, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he helped us out at our album release show. He played the intro of Crying in the Tub for us before we all took stage. It was incredible.
That song's incredible. That song gave me a Killer's vibe to start off the album. Yeah.
Cool, awesome. I'm glad. That's something I haven't heard before, but I love hearing that.
Hell yeah. Shout out.
But yeah, so many bands to like shout out. Like, I mean, I already mentioned the Rosies, shout them out. Nicotine Slumber Party, they just dropped a single. They're playing this Friday. Go see them if this comes out before then. God, there's so many to name. It's like I'm afraid to name them because then I'm gonna get hit up like, why didn't you mention me? I forgot about me, bro.
it's like an award show.
Right,
like, first off,
gotta thank them all. Yeah. I mean, there's just so much good music in Cleveland. Like, I would just say like, go on Spotify and type in like Cleveland artists, like Cleveland playlists, like find some good Cleveland playlists, just listen to them. It's like the bar for music is really high in Cleveland. So yeah, I mean, all of them are great.
Bada bang. No, I appreciate you. I mean, that's like one of my most favorite parts of this show is to hear new local Cleveland bands, because I mean, it's just there's so many good ones out there.
So many good ones.
It's very fun to be able to dive into it. Like Club and I love this shit, man. I can't thank you enough for coming on.
Yeah,
it's fun to so much just hear your process and hear, I don't know, how everything got going and where it is now.
Yeah, I mean, it's great, like, just to be doing this. I people ask if I always saw myself doing this, or if I'd ever see myself like getting to where I am now. And like, it's hard to say because I don't think I saw myself being in this position now, but it's also like there was no other way. Like this was going to happen. Like, so I guess so. Maybe I did. Yeah.
I love it.
Right on. Do you do anything for work like outside of being a musician? Or are you like full in musician?
I really wish I could be. No, I got a full-time job. I got a 9-to-5 working for the biggest music streaming company ever, known as Spotify. So
hell yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah, so that's my job. Sorry to local musicians who hate Spotify.
We should have you back on a separate episode, honestly, to just talk about that.
Yeah, I mean,
that'd be a super interesting conversation.
It's a very interesting story too. That I
mean, just tell it now. Fuck it. Like, how'd you get involved in Spotify?
So
how long you been there?
Well, here's the thing. So I didn't always work for Spotify. I worked for another company called Findaway. And they specialize in audiobooks, audiobook distribution, audiobook platforms. And I was an audio engineer for them. So like I'd get raw audio from narrators, clean it up, mix, master, send out. And our boss sold our company to Spotify. So just by that alone, I now work for Spotify. And it's a lot easier to explain that than I work for Findaway. But saying I work for Spotify, people go, oh yeah, cool. I'm like, sweet.
I have Spotify to thank for like all my music finding.
I mean, it's
and
the
like,
most. Yeah, I mean, everyone uses it. I mean, it's such a like I don't even know how to explain.
Amazing tool.
It's a great tool for finding music. I mean, I'm grateful for it. I wish maybe they'd bump up those cents that they give to artists. Yeah. That'd be great. But yeah,
absolutely. No, that is a tough part of it. Yeah, it's give and take with this shit nowadays. True. But I always say we're just in the golden age of being able to discover new music. So
yes.
I got to be thankful for that.
I got to be thankful. Yeah.
Very nice. What are just music artists that you've listened to your entire life?
Yeah.
And even I guess beyond that, some like specific influences when you're writing music.
Yeah, great question. So I think in high school I went through like a music journey where I was just like, I'm gonna listen to all the cool indie rock bands, and I got really into like The National and Spoon and the Sigur Rós, Bon Iver, like all that like kind of like that sort of era of Pandora when indie rock started becoming mainstream, and I really fell into this like indie rock, Hole, Grizzly Bear, Yeah Yeah Yeahs. Like I love all that type of music. So those bands like really formative for me, and that was when I bought my first guitar and I started learning songs. I think one of the first songs I learned was Maps by Yeah Yeah Yeahs. Great song. So yeah, and I just kind of just like shaped the way I would write. And I didn't really start writing until like maybe a year of playing guitar and just learning other songs. And I could like take all the influence that I got from that, apply it to my own writing. It's like specific like musicians that I could cite as like direct influences on Who Saved Who. I mean, I think there's a lot of Block Party on our album. I'm a big Block Party fan. I love the energy that band brings. Just like extremely versatile. Like every musician in that band is just like working at the top of their level. It's just something I like to think about us too. It's like every member and Who Saved Who is like the best at what they do in that instrument. I think like some recent bands that I've really pulled a lot from, like Big Thief is like one of my favorite bands ever. When I think of, like lyrically, I like cite them a lot. It's like they're just so playful and like poetic with their lyrics, and that's something I really try to strive for. Also like Pine Grove, one of my favorite bands as well.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean a lot of that sort of like indie folksy music, but even though it's not really us, but it's like those bands like lyrically I pull from, or like I like to think I pull from, or I'm at least influenced by. But yeah, I guess like any sort of like guitar driven music, I love that shit.
Fuck yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Mhm.
And where can the people find Who Saved Who?
Well, you can find it on Spotify if you so choose, or Apple Music, or you could go on our YouTube channel, check out some of our videos. We dropped a video for our song Fill Your Cup a few months ago. That was a lot of fun shooting that. So you should check that out. And really, wherever you listen to music, you follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. We're all over on all the digital platforms.
Go out and find them, ladies and gentlemen.
Find us, Google us. We want to be number one when you Google us, not Wade Hayes.
Yeah. Check them
Now,
out.
now you got me curious. I'm about to Google search you.
Yeah, just type in Who Saved Who and tell me what comes up first.
All right. Who saved who? Yeah, Wade Hayes, the song Who Saved Who. That
song has been like a meme for us. When we go out on stage, we'll like have that song playing.
Well, if it makes you feel better, your band website is the second hit, and your Facebook page is the third hit.
All right, we're so close.
So we're getting close.
This clock is ticking.
2 out of 3
Yep.
ain't bad. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, no, check them out. And again, I know you guys just kind of announced you're going to be focusing more on the writing process, but follow them on all the places Sean just mentioned, because this is, again, a band you have to see live to get that experience. But Sean, we can't let you off the hook.
No.
There's an encore always.
Okay, what you want?
Clep, tell our boy.
All right. What is your most memorable experience at a live show? Like whether it's one you attended, played at, or working at, whatever.
Oh boy. All
And,
right.
and I always love to elaborate because this gets people really thinking. But
Okay.
it could be unique, strange, what the fuck moments.
Okay.
And yeah.
I got one, and it's funny because I was just telling you this. This is our most recent show. So for when we were just playing in Baltimore, JJ mentioned my straw hat. I don't know if he mentioned my white pants that I wore. And so I wore these tight white pants on stage. And, I played the show. I felt really good after the show. I was like, we killed it. Like, I felt so good. I was like, we all just fucking murdered that stage. And then when we got off stage, we went and hung out by the merch booth. We're just all hanging out. And this lady comes up to us, and she's just like, she's very complimentary to us. She goes to Kian. She's like, you were great. I loved your moves. She goes to Luke, like, I love your fit. I love what you guys are doing. And then she's like, I have one critique for you guys. And then she points at me and she goes, the white pants. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, they gotta go. And I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, it's before Labor Day.
Yeah.
It's okay. And she's like, no, they're just not doing it. And the rest of the moment was a blur because I was just like holding back tears as she was telling me. She just kept digging into it. She was like, yeah, the white pants, they're just not working for me. And then I was like, okay. And she just kept going. So she was just digging a hole. And then eventually I was like, listen, you're like kind of hurting my feelings right now. I hate on my white pants. And she's like, I don't care that I'm hurting your feelings. Like, I just feel like I need to tell you this. And I was like, you really didn't.
Damn.
You didn't need to tell me that. And then I was like, okay, are you going to buy a shirt? Are you going to keep roasting my white pants? And she did not buy a shirt. She did write an email down for our email list, but it was illegible. Like we couldn't read it. So I mean, so maybe somehow, some way this podcast will find its way to her ears. And if it does, like, I'm still wearing those white pants. Okay. They're not going anywhere.
The Baltimore white pants hater. We will find you.
We will find
and
you.
We'll roast you in public.
Yes.
It's before Labor Day. White pants are in.
So it was a little humbling. It was kind of nice to have like just like a brutally honest moment like that. So for that, I thank her, but also I curse her.
Speaking of cursing, by chance, did you take a piss on M&T Bank Stadium before you left Baltimore?
I should have just like chugged a bunch of beer and saved up. Stored my bladder for that.
I had no idea where you're going with that club. I was like, where could this go? You gotta pee on the woman or something? Like, right. I had no idea what that was.
No. Just where the Ravens play football.
It wouldn't be the first time. We asked someone, this gentleman named Mike Avdi, who helps run ticketing sales at Prime Social Group in Columbus. And his story involved a woman peeing on a guy on stage. So let's just say it was on theme for myself to go there when Club started that sentence.
I think I saw that video. Online.
Yeah, it was. I had to immediately go look that up.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it when I heard that.
That's crazy. Well, again, Sean McAfee, lead guitarist, singer for Who Saved Who.
Thank
Sean,
you.
I appreciate you coming on very much.
Thank you. This has been a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And again, this has been Vinyl Stallions, a podcast about all things music. You can check us out at Vinyl Stallions, any social platform, and anywhere that you can listen to podcasts. But besides that, my name is Spruce.
I'm Pleb.
And this has been another episode of Vinyl Stallions. You always got to throw in that neigh.